Welcome back to the garden, good lifers. Great to have you along. It's been about a week or so since my last video, which I know wasn't as positive as it could have been, but this one is a lot more positive, I promise you. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about facing adversity and kind of moving on from it. And obviously it has been a really, really tricky and challenging few weeks for us. I'm not going to go into all the details that's going on, but there's a lot of stuff going on. It's quite challenging. But with everything that's going on, I think the most important thing that I've realised over the last few weeks is to really keep close to you the things that you love and that you rely on, and the people that you love and you rely on. And that's really something important. And it just brings me back to that belief that self-reliance and self-sufficiency is something that we hopefully should be aiming towards. And I know that me and G are definitely aiming towards as much self-reliance as possible. We're aware that we're not going to be able to be 100% self-sufficient or self-reliant, but aiming towards being as self-reliant as possible is something that we're really working hard on. So that's really good, and it's something that in the last few weeks we've really been thinking about. With that being said, this year's allotment, as you can see behind me here, hasn't actually gone as well as we were hoping. We've got to give ourselves a little bit of leeway here. We've had an incredibly busy and stressful last 6 months, and of course the last 6 months is the kind of the time where we should have been planting, tending, harvesting, that kind of thing, or possibly not harvesting, but definitely planting and tending, and we've done hardly any planting and definitely not a lot of tending. Plus the weather in the UK this year has been very, very rainy, to say the least. I think I've finally come out and I can already see that there's a black cloud, and I think it's going to start raining again. I think there's been rain pretty much every day for the past month. And obviously I'm aware that in different parts of the world is facing some serious heat waves, and that's a massive problem. But here at least we are facing rain, quite a lot of rain. So it's been a bit miserable to come out here, and we haven't done as much tending as we were hoping to. But we've done a lot of learning in that time, which is really good. So what I wanted to do today, as well as get on with more strimming, I have to say the strimmer that I bought the other day, it is an absolute lifesaver. I wish I'd bought one 6 months ago. But anyway, very, very pleased we have it. I'm going to do some more strimming today. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. But mostly I want to also think about planning our garden for next year. We're lucky now that we've got our 6 beds in. We do want another 4 beds in, which is something that we are going to be working on over the winter. So we've got 6 beds in at the moment. 5 plants are kind of planted with various things, but nothing. No, it's doing well, but not amazing. But I want to make sure that our next year's garden is actually going to try and be as thriving as possible. So I have decided to use my best friend. You will possibly already know about this. It's been in the news for months since it came out at the end of November. And thanks to my job outside of what I'm doing here, I'm a massive, massive fan of ChatGPT. So if you don't know what it is, if you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, ChatGPT is a free AI assistant thing, like chatbot basically. But it's a massively large language model. It's trained on millions and millions of words. I use it in my work life pretty much all day, every day, but it can be super useful for all sorts of things. So loads of people have been using it for things like planning out nutritious meals or workout regimes, where to go on holiday, that kind of thing. And I have been using it, or I am going to be using it, to plan out next year's garden. Now, I like to plant using square foot gardening, and I also like to try and do companion planting. Last year, it took me about 3 weeks to sit and try and plan out an allotment plan, mostly which we've tried to follow, but it's failed due to our own not being able to get here as often as we could, like bananas, not being able to get here as much as often as we would like, and also the weather not being overly helpful. So what I thought I would do this year, instead of spending a huge amount of time planning and then getting all confused and worried about where I'm going to put it, I'm going to ask AI to do it with me. Now I'm actually going to use GPT-4 to do mine. Due to my work, I actually pay for the Plus subscription, so I've got access to GPT-4. But if you haven't got access to it, you can always use the free version, and the free version is going to work just as well. It just might not be quite as pretty or as advanced. But to be honest, I think both versions will work pretty well. I might even experiment using both versions. But GPT 3.5 is going to work really, really well for you. So if you want to give it a go, hopefully you can follow along with what I'm doing. And then we can come back at his time next year and find out whether or not it actually worked. But hopefully it should be fun. So without further ado, I am going to take you over to my laptop. Okay, so I have ChatGPT up here. I'm obviously using GPT-4 up here, but you can switch over to 3.5. 3.5 is free, so give it a try, see what one works for you. But I'm going to use the 4 one because I've got the Plus subscription. So I've got a prompt here, if I just paste it in. So it says here, act as an expert gardener from the UK with knowledge about companion planting, square foot gardening and permaculture. They're the 3 things that I wanted to make sure that I got in there. And obviously telling it I'm from the UK gives it a climate to work with as well. So what you need to do, plant a square foot vegetable garden by filling 10 4 by 10 foot raised beds with a variety of vegetables. Provide detailed guidance on plant spacing, plant schedules and selecting suitable varieties for the best possible yield and diversity in the vegetable garden. Make a plan for each bed, plan what will be planted where and lay it out for me in an easy to read way. Nice and easy. I've put on here, oops, can't spell that properly. Be considerate that my 2 favourite vegetables are garlic and peas. I want to plant in plenty of space for them. So hopefully it will give me lots and lots of garlic and lots of peas. When I've tried this before, obviously it kind of gave me a normal person's amount, which is not what we want. We want more than that. So I've got some guidelines to follow. So consider the specific requirements and preferences for each vegetable as well as their compatibility for companion planting. That's really important. Optimise the use of space by utilising techniques such as interplanting, succession planting and vertical gardening. Ensure the garden design follows permaculture principles, aiming for a sustainable and self-sufficient system, and pay attention to the UK growing conditions, including climate, soil type and seasonal variations, as well as shade. So hopefully there's quite a few things there for it to work with. Let's see what happens when we press go. So 4 is definitely a little bit slower than GPT 3.5, but it doesn't really matter how fast it is. Oh, good. We've already got garlic and peas in there straight away. Hopefully they're good companions. Okay, so it's kind of mixed things up a little bit, but that's okay. Brassicas and companions. So here we've got spinach and... No, scroll back up. We've got spinach and carrots here. We've got cabbage, broccoli, nasturtiums and dill. That's quite good, because dill attracts beneficial insects. I love the fact that it's telling me what each one is doing as well, which is quite nice. We've got lots of beetroots, lots of lettuces, 4 heads or many more of ground leaf varieties per square foot. Radishes, I do like radishes, so that's good. We've got salad and companions of spring onions, tomatoes and basil, beans and corns. They're like a traditional companion planting, which is really cool. Perennial vegetables, that's a good idea. So let's put perennial vegetables in. I might actually change that because I want to put them in their own specific bed. So I'm going to change that, but that didn't know that. A little herb garden. So again, I'm going to change that as well because I want to make a separate herb garden, but that's okay. Green manures for soil health. So I'm not quite sure why it's made a whole bed for that, but and then fruits. So not bad. I might give it another run through and see what it comes up with. So it's giving me some ideas here. Yeah, I might give it another run through just to see what it comes up with some better options, because I think we've used these beds pretty well, but I think beds 7, 8, 9 and 10 could have been better, to be honest. But again, it doesn't know that I want to move. I don't want to plant strawberries and raspberries in beds. So it did a pretty good job. I'm going to give it another couple of runs through and see if I can come up with the perfect plan. Okay, so I've done a little bit of modification and done a little bit of regeneration. I've done a few different plans here, and I think I finally found one that I really like. So straight away, we've got some guidelines here just about companion planting, interplanting, succession, vertical and permaculture. But I really quite like the way that these beds are laid out. So we've got garlic in the first beds, obviously, loads of that. It's not got the maths perfectly right, but that's a GPT thing. So it says 8 square foot, 2 square foot and 2 square foot. That in my maths would make me have 12 square foot, but I've actually got 40 square foot to fill in each bed, being 10 by 4. But that's okay, because I can figure out I can figure out upscaling that, as it were. But garlic, carrots and spinach in the first one, peas, carrots and radishes on the second one. We've got I like the fact as well that it's kind of put brassicas and companions in there. So we've got broccoli, cabbage, kale and beets. And it says here beets is a good companion for brassicas. I like the fact that here we've got as well, companions for bees, deterring pests that affect peas and things like that. And what have we got here? So number 4, salad greens and companions. So we've got spring onions repel pests from lettuce. So that's great. I didn't know that. And again, we've got that in there. Again, the maths is a bit wrong, but that's not too much of a problem. I can figure that out. So we've got root vegetables and companions, deters carrot fly. That's onions in here. We've got more carrots in here, but we do eat quite a lot of carrots. It's probably a good thing to have them in there. And what we got, nightshades and companions. This is tomato, basil, peppers and marigolds. Improves flavour and deters pests. That's always good. Cages vertical growth. So that's what we will be doing. Excuse me. Cucurbits. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. And companions. We've got cucumbers, squash and nasturtium. So we can interplant them around, which is quite good. Leafy greens and herbs. Again, this one I might change because I'm not going to be growing herbs in the gardens. There's a reason for that. I want my own herb garden. But to be fair to the AI, I didn't tell it that. Again, perennial vegetables, I'm going to change those ones as well. And here we've got additional garlic and peas. And I'm fine with that. Additional garlic and peas, they're my favourites. So I'm fine with that. So we've got a nice little planting schedule here, so I know roughly what to plant and when. And we've got a couple of notes around here as well. So I am just going to say to the AI, can we change bed 9 and bed 10? So can we change bed 9, please? Add in some new veg to this bit. Oh, can't spell today. My typing's all over the place. Good. So I've asked it basically to add in some new vegetables and new companions in there because I want to change that bed a bit. So redesigning bed 9 has a mix of vegetables. So now we've got leeks. I like leeks, so that's good. Celery. Not a massive fan of celery, but it is good for stock. So beetroot and good. And bush beans, which is really good, which is kind of what I wanted here. Good. We've got a little bit of rationale as well. Please also change bed 10. What does it give me for bed 10 over here? Mixed vegetables and companions. Brussels sprouts, I'm not a fan, but G likes them. Dill, Swiss chard and marjoram. That's really good. Oh, and some turnips. Lovely, really good. So I quite like this layout. I'm going to now take this layout and pop it over into the garden planner. And I'm going to take you along with me for that one. Okay, so I have got my garden plan up. This is a really, really great website. It is called growveg.co.uk. This is a paid app. I think it's about £20 for the year, which is ridiculously cheap. Just, out of pure curiosity, I would definitely pay more if, for some reason the developers watching this. Is a great app. So I have got here my allotment plan. This is obviously my dream allotment plan. Currently it doesn't look like this, but I have got my polytunnel in place here. This is going to be the chicken shed. At the moment the office is just there. This is where I want to put the office, so I've kind of put it here. The pond is already in place, and currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 beds in already. This plan is going to be done using all of the beds that you can see here, so all of them along here. We do have 2 compost bins in at the moment, these guys here. I do want to put another one in. These are all my planned water containers, which we haven't got yet, but it's okay. It's good to have a plan. You can also see this square here. This is hopefully going to be another raised bed that I'm going to put in for our medicinal herb garden. And I'm thinking this one up here is going to be for the culinary herbs. But let's have a zoom in and see if we can start filling. This is the little shed that we've got at the moment. Filling up this first bed here. I'm going to call this bed number 1. I'm actually going to just quickly swap that over. Where's the settings? Into feet, because currently it's in, there we go, save plan, there we go, because it was in meters for some reason. So you can see I've got our raised bed already in here. I've put some of the irrigation bits in. I've not put them in the line there. It's just an idea to say this is definitely going to be irrigated, so just so I know where it is. So the first one, I've just popped it into Notepad so I can have a look here. Garlic, carrots and spinach. Okay, cool. So gonna look for garlic. Here we go. Don't worry about the fact that it's popping up red. This is taken from another year's plan, but a plan that didn't work. So for the minute, ignore the fact that it's red. So I'm going to pop the garlic in. I know where I copy that. The only thing that annoys me when I'm putting things in for square foot gardening is I have to put them in one at a time. And that kind of annoys me a little bit, but it's okay. So I'm probably going to do 2 rows of garlic. How many have we got here? Carrots and spinach. It says 8. Yeah, carrots and spinach. Okay, so let's pop in some carrots. And I can put in varieties with this one, but for the minute, I'm just going to get everything in place, basically. So, carrots. Now, if I pop the spinach in as well, I think I might put that next to it. And then what I think I might do is just repeat that one. Repeat that whole block. So if we now get hold of these ones, copy, paste it in, along like that, good. And I think, because I know that I've got carrots elsewhere, I'm just going to take another 2 rows of garlic, and I'm going to put them the other end, just like that. So that is the first bed all filled up. I'm going to do the same with the other beds that are in the plan, and I pop the plan in here, so I will come back to you and see you in a minute when it's all filled in. So I have finished the plan. You can see that here. I've got my allotment all planned out. Obviously, this is not how it looks at the minute, but we've got, I'm just going to take you through it really quickly. This is the vegetable area, which I'll take you through. This is the physic garden, the medicinal herbs garden, and this is what I'm calling the culinary herbs garden. And these boxes here are going to be for my potatoes. Let me take you through the vegetable area bit. As you can see, I've also updated my irrigation system. If I show you just the irrigation at the moment, I'm actually quite proud of this. It's beautiful. Look at it. Oh, it's actually stunning. So proud of my irrigation system. Most of that's in, by the way, which is quite cool. Let's go back to, if I lock all, then I'm not going to break it later on. So bed number 1, we've got we've got garlic, carrots, spinach, garlic, carrots, spinach and garlic again. Bed number 2, we've got radishes, carrots, peas, I think. Let me unlock that because then it'll tell me what it is. Yeah, peas. So we've got radishes, carrots, peas, radishes, carrots, peas again. Scrolling that back up. Hang on a second. It's a little bit more tricky once you've got it all filled in. Difficult to scroll. And then bed number 3, we've got purple sprouting broccoli. This is going to be spring cabbage, kale, beetroot, green broccoli, calabrese cock broccoli. We've got summer cabbage, kale, beetroot again, so I'm kind of repeating it again. More purple sprouting broccoli and autumn cabbage. We don't eat a huge amount of cabbage, that's why I've got spring, summer and autumn cabbage all in one bed. Then bed number 4, we've got some lettuce here. Then we've got some rocket. We've got lots of spring onions and some more radishes. I really like radishes. Bed 5, we've got carrots, onions, carrots, red onions, carrots, white onions, carrots, red onions. So carrots and onions in there. We tend to eat garlic, carrots and onions the most in our house, and broccoli. We really like broccoli. And my favourite is peas. Then down here I've put the cherry tomatoes on the ends of the bed because I'm hoping that I'll make them slightly easier to pick, but it's whether or not they grow. So that's always a question, isn't it? Got cherry tomatoes, normal tomatoes, a little bit of basil because that helps protect the tomatoes and apparently makes them taste better. We'll see if it grows. I've planned in some peppers here as well, and then in the middle you can see we've got calendula. Calendula is really medicinal, so I've specifically put that in there. And we've got marigolds, and again can do the same thing here, so peppers, basil, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. Okay, next set of beds up here, we have got squash. I've just put in loads of squash in here, but there are going to be all sorts of different varieties of like normal squash. I put winter squash in here. It's one of the only vegetables that's not laid out for square foot gardening, which is why you've got this big round bit here, but that's okay. Then we've got bed 7 here. We have got Swiss chard, coriander, leeks in here. There's not many leeks in this bed. I thought there was going to be more. Rosemary. I always kill rosemary, so goodness knows if that's actually going to grow. Cauliflower, more Swiss chard, and we're just repeating it again. Coriander, leeks, rosemary, and cauliflower again. So hopefully they will all grow. I've not been overly successful at rosemary, ever. Leeks I'm pretty good at. One year I grew like 70 something leeks. I had to start giving them away to people. But yeah, they tasted nice. Then bed 9, we have, again, this is almost repeating again. So it's celery, more beetroot. My mum really likes beetroot, so I'm hoping to grow some for her. Square foot of French beans. We've got runner beans as well. So these are known as like bush beans. Celery again, beetroots, and then our broad beans. We did really well with broad beans this year until they all succumbed to broad bean rust. But before that, they were doing amazing. And again, we've got some more celery and some more beans up here, which is cool. And the last vegetable bed number 10, we've got Brussels sprouts. I can't stand Brussels sprouts, but G likes them, so I'm going to attempt to grow some for him. We've got swede. I love swede. Dill, turnips, pak choy, marjoram, some more Brussels sprouts, some swedes, some more dill, and some more turnips. So that is my plan for our vegetable garden. If any of that grows, that would be amazing. But, we will see. We will see. And then scrolling up here, we can just see what's coming in here. This is my planned out physic garden, or my medicinal garden. You'll see right in the middle, I've popped in a compass. This is, I don't know if I'm going to put some sort of decoration in the middle of the garden. I might do, but I figured if I put that in there, then I can remind myself which way is south in our allotment. So our allotment faces nearly south, so it's pretty good. And it's not very shady at all, so we get loads of light, which is good. Although, if you do want to see what you can grow in the shade, have a look on our website because we've got a couple of articles about that, so hopefully it'll help. So I tried to lay this out so it will actually look quite nice as well as be useful. So starting off with the pink ones here, this one, this one, this one, and this one, that's valerian. Then we've got lavender, and then around the edges here, echinacea. This one is chamomile. Yeah, these are chamomile. These two yellow ones are different, so I've put, it just says flower here, but this is going to be St. John's wort, and this is going to be dandelion. I didn't have them in the system here, so I tried to kind of put them in. Out here, this little white flower on the corner, that's going to be yarrow. And then herb-wise, we've got feverfew as well. So where you see these 3 ones here, there and there, that's going to be feverfew. And herb-wise, I've got some thyme, some mint, some lemon balm, and this is going to be holy basil or tulsi. I'm not sure how you say it. It's incredibly medicinal, so that's what this is going to be. Again, I didn't have it in the list, that's why it just says herb. And then scrolling up here, I've planned out 6 boxes of potatoes. So we've got our early potatoes and our main crop potatoes. I don't know if that's going to work. We'll see, hopefully. And this is going to be my medicinal herb garden. Not my medicinal herb. This is going to be my culinary herbs. So we have got fennel, dill, parsley, coriander. I think you guys call that cilantro. Not sure. Chives, more chives, oregano, marjoram, stevia, sage, rosemary, tarragon, borage, cress, and bay, and finally a little bit of catnip there. So that is the plan for 2024. We will see how it works, or how it works out. So there we go, a year's worth of gardening all planned out. Let's see if it actually works. It's a really, really challenging plan. I think it is definitely a lot to plan out there. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but I'm really hoping that given the changes in my work plans and given that, hopefully things are going to start to calm down a little bit, I'm really hoping that we're going to actually have a little bit more time to do it. And now we've got the strimmer, the place looks slightly less like a jungle, so I'll want to come down here more often. But no, so hopefully we can have a chance to do it. I'm going to aim on getting at least all the vegetable beds in. I really do want to get the physic garden in as soon as possible as well. But I think at that point it's, we'll aim to do what we can do. I've still got to make another 4 beds, so that's a fun challenge that I've got to do. So hopefully you can carry on joining along with us and see how the garden goes next year. The next few months are going to be kind of dedicated to harvesting what we have got, which is not a lot, don't worry, and then hopefully preserving what we've got. And then during the winter time we're planning to do a bit more building and clearing when the weeds are slightly less evil, so that we can really start to actually make sure that when it comes right around to planting season again, kind of February onwards, we've got all of that space actually there ready to go, which is something we didn't have this year. We were always playing catch up with both time and, money and effort, basically, and the weather. Always the weather in the UK. But yeah, so hopefully that was interesting for you and fun for you. I will leave a link to the prompt that I used, and hopefully you'll find it useful. And yeah, hopefully you can plan your own garden. The software that I used is from growveg.com. I think I'll put a link to it just here. It's absolutely amazing. It's about £20 for a whole year, which I think is an absolute steal, to be honest. Just thought I'd let you know, guys, I would pay more for that. It's really good. But no, it's amazing, and you can add all the bits and pieces in just as you saw me doing. So I'm really, really pleased with that. But other than that, yeah, hopefully this was helpful to you. If you're like the old pen and paper style, that you want to plan it all out in pen and paper, then you can probably do all that for free, which is even cooler. If you are planning your gardens, I will have a quick plug for our website, backtothegoodlife.com. Have a pop on there. We've got loads of helpful articles on all sorts of self-sufficient and self-reliant homesteading tasks, such as growing your own garden, medicinal plants and herbs, making things out of that, preserving, cooking stuff. There's a few, we're also moving into doing a few more kind of renewable energy and sustainability stuff on there. So I'm really kind of trying to explore that side of life. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. But that's it from me today. You've probably heard way too much of me, and thank you very much for joining me. It has been lovely to see you, and I will hopefully see you next week, possibly Thursday, possibly not. I don't know. I'm going to stop telling you that I'm going to do videos every single week because I'm trying, but definitely next Tuesday. But hopefully I will see you very, very soon. Have a lovely good life, people. Bye.